All right, welcome to Post Apocalyptic Show. It's Rob.
John?
June 1980.
Oh, in June, summer.
June, we're in the summer. It feels like the summer.
Yeah.
It's November and it's 90 degrees outside.
And it's November. I don't
understand.
In 2020 though, you just go.
Everything is a month. Like everything's 2020 now.
Exactly.
There's no months. But 2020.
It's like, when do the aliens arrive?
Like December 1st. Okay.
That's what they're doing.
Well, June 1980 brings us to The Island.
The Island, the great Michael. No, this is a different movie.
Yeah, not Michael Bay. This is The Island. This is where, let's see, a journalist takes his... Wait, I'll just hold it up. A journalist takes his son with him to investigate pirate activity off the coast of Florida.
Oh, sounds amazing.
Like, I'm guessing it's a... Well, no, because they're in, like I saw the trailer, they're in a regular boat. So I have no idea, like, let's go investigate pirate activity?
I guess. I mean,
pirates, it was the 80s. There was nothing else to do.
It's pirates come in all boats and sizes. They really do. So I mean, it's a thing.
Yes, it is a thing. We're gonna see Michael Caine hopefully fight pirates.
Captain Jack. No, that's probably something.
That would be amazing. It's young 15-year-old Johnny Depp.
Right.
All right. So we'll go into the details after we watch the movie.
Yes.
But we are in June now. The big month of June
We're moving.
It had Urban Cowboy, the Blues Brothers, and Brubaker.
Brubaker too. Oh, this was just...
June was lit.
It was a year where Brubaker could exist and do well.
And I saw Brubaker. I never saw The Island. I didn't know a movie existed. Literally, when I was looking, I've never even heard of it. Never saw the poster. Nothing. So we're in for a treat, I think.
I think that's the word, treat.
Yeah.
I mean, Halloween just ended, but yeah.
We're in a treat. It's the summer. We're gonna go visit the island.
Yes, I can't wait.
All right, let's go do it.
Yeah, boy, that stinks. Shit!
Oh shit!
Oh. Wow.
I did not see that. That was amazing. That was Caine. Oh, in Gotham.
Oh.
Is this the Alfred story?
The origin story.
Oh shit!
Whoa. It's like a real gun.
Justin, will you stop that?
It's not loaded.
Sure. Guns are never loaded till they go off and blow a hole in someone's head.
I'm already excited at the idea of this kid's going to be hacksaw.
I'm sorry about that. It's not cool or outrageous, you know.
No, sorry.
Sure. I'm sorry, ma'am. I was playing with Jimmy and I shot him. But never mind. You can have another kid.
Okay, I hear you.
Your mother's gonna hack my ass.
I won't tell if you don't.
Is that Coppola?
That's what I was about to say.
That looked and sounded
Totally.
He talks about the movie all the time.
Right. He can't shut up.
Text Michael Caine every day. Remember that movie?
Let's talk the island. Some wine. Definitely. Has anybody ever told you?
Would have changed this movie from like a 1 to a 10.
Totally. He takes over directing from here on.
Yeah.
Well, what the bloody hell are you flying for, man? I did not pay for bringing you this. Furthermore, Mr. Maynard,
Yeah, it's like he saw his kid like learn. Well, fuck him.
Yeah.
I get it. It's probably like I can go get hell.
Right.
Is there an inside pocket into that blouse shirt?
I
He requested a wardrobe. I need that in the... No, fuck him. Let's go. Oh, he did.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, no regard not knowing his son was safe.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Best dad, worst dad. Oh my God. He's gotta work on being a dad.
I think I need a little,
Yeah. Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
no, like
Oh,
legit campfire, right?
That's a lot of death.
That was a movie.
It's like, God.
We earned this one. A little,
Oh,
Old
yeah.
West campfire.
Yeah.
It gets better every week.
Oh man, yeah.
The Island, 1980, directed by Michael Ritchie, who brought us Bad News Bears, Fletch, Golden Child, and I put Diggstown on there because I really enjoyed Diggstown.
Which one was
Louis
Diggstown?
Scott Jr., Louis Scott
Yes,
Jr.,
yes,
and
yes.
James Woods, the boxing movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Bad News Bears, Fletch, Golden Child.
But I mean, those are good highlights.
Written by Peter Benchley, who also wrote the novel, Jaws,
Jaws,
and
yeah.
the Deep. Interesting thing, he also wrote the screenplay as well, and seems he likes water.
Yeah, that's what I was. When I saw Peter Benchley, I'm like, oh, water. Okay,
Dude is obsessed with.
he's the water guy.
Obviously starring Michael Caine, David Warner, and a couple of cast of people like, oh, that guy.
Exactly.
Which I'll put up the guy that was the sitcom guy, where we're like, that guy.
That guy. You know,
He's
him.
like usually about. Oh, was he the principal and head of the class?
That's it.
That's it.
Rob. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
That was our review of The Island. All right, so that's The Island for June 1930. 1980, I don't know. This movie.
Wow. It was a movie. It was a movie.
100%. So we'll get into like thoughts, but first, story. What did you think of the story?
Wow. It was hard to follow.
Yes.
I didn't quite know. I don't know. I didn't quite know what was going on. It took these like turns.
Yeah.
Which I'm a fan of, like turns and left turns and stuff like that. But it just.
It was all left turns.
It was all left turns. It just seemed so strange. It was just like a strange sort of movie. Like the tones from one sort of, I won't say scene, but one sort of setup to the next was wildly different.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really make sense of who Michael Caine's character really was and
Right.
was about and had to, it was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, from the opening scene to the last, it was just like, okay, I'm here, I'm buckled in. I obviously have to be ready for anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, to take a detour, you know, to his island, is going somewhere with the kid. He's a reporter. He finds something else that he wants to investigate, takes a detour, and it turns into him and his son on this crazy island with these sort of quote-unquote primitive people, pirates.
Yeah.
And he has to find his way, you know, out of that situation. They get his son, and, you know, you would think, oh, they take his son, so it's a quest for him to wrestle his son from the mob, but the
son turns right away.
The son turns right away, and Michael Caine's kind of about the son, like
best worst dad. He kept saying
best worst dad. Like sometimes he's like, oh, he's a good dad, and he's like, oh, he just doesn't no regard for the son at all. It's just like the son, like that person pulls him from the boat, and his first instinct is, oh, here's here's a which is the right thing to do,
Yeah.
but here's a rope or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, as a dad, you're like, I'm gonna jump in and
Yeah.
go after my kid. But it's like, here's the thing. It's like, no, someone's got your kid.
It's like, I understand why you might be divorced now. You were so terrible at being a dad.
Oh my god, yeah. So I mean, it was hard to like get a hold of him. As far as the story, as far as the pirates on the island,
Yeah.
you know, and the doctor, I didn't know if it was. That was kind of muddy. It was kind of muddy for me, like what their whole deal was. Because
And like, why is the doctor excited? Like, he's like, oh, they're living the original dream or whatever. Michael Caine had a couple good zingers in there, but like,
yeah,
it was like he was so happy that they were living the dream, and all of it he got out of like a stereo here and there. Like,
yeah,
I don't understand like his motivation at all.
I didn't understand what I mean. His whole like anthropological,
Yeah.
you know, thrust of, oh wow, these people are, you know, from this is the 17th century, live in living color, and this is, you know, beautiful and pristine, devoid of all the, you know, all the trappings of the outside world. But you know, he was also just a shitty guy.
Yeah.
I don't understand sort of where we were supposed to be. I know we'll probably talk about music later, but
Yeah.
like trying to see whose side we're on. They seem like bad guys.
Right. And we're sort of thrusted into the story, which I'm okay with, but it does open an axe to the head.
Yeah.
So, is this what this movie is? Like, that sets the idea
that's
of what
big, yeah.
Like, I mean, it was Friday the 13th style. It was amazing, though. Like, it was just,
Yeah.
you can tell it was that, just, you know, that prosthetic head. And,
Yeah.
like, you know, it was probably just reversed, you know, like, it was really well done, but it was like, oh, this is what this movie is. It's about these pirates, but then Michael Caine's so quick. Michael Caine, hey, boss, you know, he's a reporter. And it's just like, hey, I wanna, you know, write about these missing boats and these people. It seems really interesting.
Right.
All right, whatever. And that's it. And then he takes his kid with him. It's...
Yeah, the tone shift was just like, okay, missing boats. We know he's in for something.
Yeah.
If he's, you know, if he gets close to whatever we just saw.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like, I don't know the sort of motivation. I mean,
Well, and it was that startling moment, too. So they get captured. Michael Caine wakes up. And it's so, not unsettling, but it was so funny to see the pirates of just these, like, dudes in weird outfits. And it was just like, what are we... Like, it was like a terrible biker gang.
yeah, off-brand Mad Max. It was just sort of
That's it. That's off-brand Mad Max. That's
it was
exactly.
just sort of like, yeah, when you know, the whole trope of, you know, you get knocked out and then you open your eyes and now you're in the middle of something.
Yeah.
And you're tied up and like, oh, your son's like there. And the people, like the pirates, are like a biker gang.
Yeah.
And it's like, is this 17th century? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was just so confusing, you know, and then were they speaking a different language? A lot of stuff I didn't understand because they were just sort of, I don't
Gibberish,
know, mumbling and gibberish. But then maybe you can explain this, what did they want to get out of him being Michael Caine? The son was like, you know, he could sort of, I guess, carry on the genetic line or something. He could be part of the
the breeding of
exactly. But Michael Caine, because remember he said, "Why do you think I kept you alive?" And I couldn't really understand why.
And they never really explained why they kept him alive, because first of all, like, they never really, like, you just figured out the guy with the ponytail was the leader, but never felt like there was who is the leader of this. I mean, he sort of was the most well-spoken, so you're just like, I guess he's the leader, but there was no real trope. Like, why is he the leader? But at first, they explain, Michael Caine, you're still alive, so you can impregnate her, because of the inbreeding.
Right.
You're like, great. Then there is that line. It's like, why do you think they've kept you alive? I don't know. Like, to hopefully impregnate more women? Like, was that the idea?
Well, he said to impregnate, do you probably want me to impregnate? He's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, you have a great thruster or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's not why. It's like, well, then why?
She seemed to really, like the wife who he ended up marrying, seemed to really like him.
Yeah.
And actually helped him kill, the guy at the end. But there's no payoff to any of that. Like, she helps him and then disappears, and in theory, the only one left alive on the island.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think there were a lot of things that just happened.
Yeah.
But nothing, as you say, payoff. There was no payoff really to a lot of this stuff. It was just sort of like, okay, here are these people on this island. Here's this doctor. We don't really know the motivations. I mean, they're pirates, so they go out and they successfully every time, take over ships, and get their bounty or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they just continue to do that. A lot of beer.
Yeah, a lot of beer.
And they blow up the ships.
Yeah, so I guess that was it. I'm guessing that doctor, they kept calling him doctor, but we don't really know.
Yeah.
Must just be part of the thing that covers it up. Like, oh, that boat went down, and that's
right.
it. And they don't question. But there was also, they alluded to the fact that the boats reappear with no one in them. So it's like a drowning or something. So it's just sort of like, all right, they know what they're doing. They've mastered the art of the stealth kill, like when they got Francis Ford Coppola.
Right.
That was pretty amazing. And we both thought
I thought it was
Francis Ford Coppola. This movie just kept moving. The idea of when they took the son going, oh, he's good stock based on something. They're like, okay, we'll warp his mind so he forgets his father. And there was that terrifying scene where they had his eyelids open and to the point, and then he was instantly, Dad, who? This is the worst, best son ever. And Michael Caine pretty much he tried to escape a couple times, but he was, nah, let's go. He's just all cuffed up. He just sort of went with it.
Yeah, he went with the flow a lot in this movie. And so that's why I couldn't get a take on who he was supposed to be, what his through line was. I mean, if you really think about it, in terms of story, it's a simple story. He gets to the island. Obviously, it's not where he wants to be, and he's trying to get off the island with his life and his son's life. And, she's going to complicate things and all this, and help him. And then there's going to be, obviously, this sort of back and forth between him escaping and them catching him and all that. And then finally he gets off. Yeah. But through all that, you want to think that, his main goal is to escape this island with his kid. Yeah. And that's not really what I got. A lot of times he was just like hanging. Yeah.
This is what we're doing today? Yeah. Cool.
And he was like, all right.
And I'm Michael Caine. This is what I do.
Exactly.
I just wonder if there was the hindrance of the guy, novelist, writing the screenplay. Like, he kept all the stuff he wanted to keep in the screenplay. And because he wrote Jaws, they were like, he wrote, the book Jaws, and like, that movie's the biggest movie. They're like, oh, you want to write the screenplay on this one? Do it. Oh, we're not going to say no to Jaws guy.
Absolutely. The first blockbuster? Yes.
And then like, this could be the next one. Yeah. And I'm sure they're, I don't know. This guy seems like the best worst dad ever.
This should have been a little, maybe another draft or something with like a
Ghost Rider
sensitivity pass or something.
Because I don't know if Michael Caine is our hero, the action hero. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like he was this action hero, but he's a reporter. But he's also.
I mean, they do mention like that he was fought in Korea.
Oh, he was in Korea, right? I forgot he was in Korea.
But like that doesn't really. Yeah. That's the only line to show that he would probably know how to shoot the gun that literally just murders everyone.
That scene, it was just like this indiscriminate killing.
Yeah, just like
with his son amongst.
He has no idea where his son is at that moment. He doesn't even know if some of the Coast Guard guys are alive.
No.
just mows everyone
You
down.
think he just went back into career and just like snapped? It was just like
Everyone! You're just like, oh my god.
it's like killing his own people. It's like okay.
I mean, I could have seen that almost being the end. Like, he goes down and sees that he kills his son, and that, like messes him, and then helicopters come and pick him up, and then it's just like, oh my god.
Well, yeah, Rob, but I think that's a movie that we were wanting to.
At that point, I was like, oh my god, did he just murder his kid? How did you feel about the acting? I mean, it's Michael Caine, but...
I mean, Michael Caine, I don't think I no notes.
No notes on Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, you know, I think as much as I was like best dad, worst dad, he was doing, you know, that was his role. Great actor. So
Yeah.
A for him, but you know, everyone else was fine, was good. I mean, even God, what is his name? The leader of the
Was that David Warner?
David Warner.
Yeah.
Is he like usually the bad guy? Right?
Yeah, he usually is. Like, I saw him. When the minute I saw him, I'm like, I know of you as being older.
Yes,
Like, that was
older
it. No.
and like the sinister part of a organized whatever.
I think they just saw the island and went, that's your role for
Right.
life. No, man.
Exactly. So I mean, he was good. I just felt like he was underutilized because we know him later on to be this sort of like sinister, cold, guy. I'm sure he's lovely in person.
I think he should have been the one telling us the history of why they do it. And like, I mean, obviously they show like there are the people that are speaking in broken English because obviously the cycle of bringing more people into their clan, it's like obviously the education is going to go down. But the doctor telling us the story is also fine because it shows that, you know, he's been a part of it, but it would also show that David Warner, I think his name was John in the movie, should have then shown a little more of him being the leader. Because it didn't really, like, he seemed like he just sort of helped them, but he didn't seem like he was making any master plans.
No.
You know.
That's another thing too. Yeah, his role was, like you said, like I felt like he was the leader, I guess because we're used to seeing him later on. So I'm like, oh, him, I know. He's going to take on that role of the leader. And when we come to that scene where, you know, Michael Caine is sort of tied up, you know, he seems like not necessarily the leader at first, but he emerges as the leader, which is the way you would do it. And
yeah, because they have all those people talking, and he's sort of in the corner. That was when I was like, "Is that Eric Roberts?" Because he kind of looked like Eric Roberts, and he's sitting in the chair.
Yeah,
you know, like that.
Yeah, so smudged over.
Yeah,
but so it was like, okay, he emerges as the leader. He's the leader, great. But then sometimes he is, sometimes he's just in the part of the group, or
because it seems like the guy that sort of was always reading the books with all the accoutrements was sort of the one, oh, you let him go again, and you know, we need to do this, and
so it sort of bounced back and forth between him and Warner, and it's just like I don't know what this band of guys are sort of after.
Yeah.
Now I think they're very coordinated when they get into a boat and go rob a ship.
Yeah.
They can get together on that, but like on the island, it's just who's doing what's going on, you know.
And I feel like they should have established more of how they live.
Yeah.
You know, because you did see like some, you know, like huts and stuff like that, but it would have been interesting to see sort of the inner workings a little bit. Like, you know, Michael Caine just sitting there. Oh, is this how they divide up chores or like, you know, live as opposed to it looks like they're just living in mud.
Yeah, mud and just doing whatever. And it was sort of the doctor, you know, said it was like sort of an organized, you know, society that sort of was a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And so you're right. It would have been nice to see, oh, what does that look like? Yeah. As opposed to, you know, staying with the best dad, worst dad. Yeah. And just trying to figure out what he's even doing there, what his motivation is. Does he want to get off? Does he want to hang out? Does he want to stay? Yeah. But we also needed to be with the people on the island too, just to see what this was, because it's such a. I mean, this is where we are. This is our setting, but it's such a left turn. It's like I really need to know where I am and what's going on here, to feel anything. And if they take over a ship and the music is, some swashbuckling.
So I'm on their side now?
Exactly.
But I thought they were all right.
If they're killing Coast Guard, and we're like, yeah. It's like, no.
Yeah, like they're boarding that Coast Guard ship at the end, and it's just the most like, we're doing this, we're getting the enemy. It's like, wait, who?
Yeah, it's like, why am I? No, you can't just kill people like that.
Well, and also too, like, not this has nothing to do with acting. This is probably more like the writing. But like sometimes, like there would just be like dialogue scenes that made zero sense. Especially like when the Coast Guard came up, it was just sort of like drinking coffee. Oh, this is terrible. What did they put in? And you want me to find out? No, just make me a black one next. Like, are you just like trying to like move, like give them an interesting thing to do? Because it wasn't like they're talking about coffee and then they're caught off surprise. Like, oh my god, we shouldn't have been talking about coffee. It was just like, oh, this is terrible. And then they have a conversation. I was like, what is this, Tarantino? Like, what?
I know. Yeah, and I thought the opening scene was like that. The dialogue in this movie, it's like...
Oh, yeah, the fisherman on the boat. It was like, what is this the movie?
The Jen and the boy getting the drinks. And hey, I made a joke. Why don't you laugh? I mean, before the hacking to the face with the...
That was one of like,
axe.
Is this what this movie is?
It was like... The dialogue, I mean, I think it was all ADR, but it's like the dialogue was just not there. And then, of course, the final scene was with the pirate sort of...
That was the weirdest... there was a lot of weird moments in this, but like, the Coast Guard thing, it's like, did you say pirates?
Yeah.
Like, and I was like...
Or pilots? Or
pilots?
You mean like, back in the day, pirates? Or...
Yeah, and we're like in the boat looking at the helicopter in the distance, and there's just this weird voiceover for it looks like pirates, and it's like, how would you know? You're in the helicopter and you just see people. I don't know. That was just like, that was a weird like almost studio note. We need to end on an up note,
right? Because it's meant to be, a moment of levity. So, but after someone's death, and it's like, why are we ending on that?
Yeah,
that's not what. It literally, Michael Caine just murdered 70 people, and we're ending on
making pirate jokes.
Exactly.
Like pirate roar and credits. Like, what is going on?
Oh my god!
What do you think of the look of the film?
I like the look of the film. I thought it was well shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the sort of the best things about the film. It's just some of the things in some of these movies are done where you have certain elements that are of a high quality, but they just don't have. I just thought like the DP shot a good movie, but I just thought when I say good movie, like the visuals, but just didn't have much to work with in the way of like supporting that with a good story and compelling characters and things like that. But the look overall, I thought,
it should. It almost. I think I said this on one of the other movies. I don't remember which one. It almost shouldn't have looked this good. You know what I mean? Like for what this weird story is, shot really well. Yeah. It wasn't trying to be. I could see them going, oh, it's like Jaws. Let's make it look like Jaws, but. You got the Bad News Bear guy, not bad, or Fletch guy, not Spielberg. This guy's making you a serviceable movie. But I thought the look, like everything looked really good. Like composition, like all that stuff, like the lighting. There was nothing. Although there was that weird dark scene where he's swimming in the water, and then it was like a stinging. And I was like, is that an octopus? Is that a person?
And he took the octopus or whatever that was, and put it on the woman.
Yeah.
And then tell him to stop. But I don't know if that was like just nothing, or I don't know what.
Yeah, that was just a weird.
I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff in here, but as far as lighting wise, and
like it looked really, really good.
Tonally, it was great. Yeah. So,
But I mean, you know, they did have a budget of $22 million.
It was $22 million?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say, like, did 20 of it go to Michael Caine, but I don't think he was $20 million Michael Caine at that point.
I don't think so. But wow.
But I mean, that's boats.
It's a big budget.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, they blew up a plane.
They did, and that was real.
Yeah.
Just for that scene.
For a weird scene that had nothing to do. It was just all about, well, now they'll pay for it. Pay for what? What are we doing?
I don't know. And
That was like laying a groundwork for a different story that we never went back to.
yeah, because I was like, okay, and then we go to the island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The audience. So this movie comes out June. It's a summer movie. It has summer movie vibes to it. The fun.
Yeah.
Fun. I mean, we had fun. I don't know how 1980 versions of us, like, at our age, you know, living that life. Like, if I went to the theater going, yay.
Yeah, it's like...
I mean, it did only make $15 million.
Yeah.
Which, 1980, that's pretty good.
No, yeah. I just think it's a family...
Is it a family film?
No.
Oh,
listen. It's a family movie in terms of, like, the pitch and the structure. Or it could be.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's like, it's the violence there. There's nothing really in there. I mean, you have the kid, you have the, you know, family movie in that, like, you can just exploit, best dad, worst dad. You can exploit the dad and the kid, right? And they're on this island and they have this primitive people and then there's pirates.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a family movie. But when you add in all the violence and the just, I don't know, the plot, the structure, just is not there. It's, you know, Michael Caine heavy, but we really don't know who he is. So like, kids won't really get.
Kids aren't going, ooh, it's Alfie.
Right. And kids won't really identify with the kid because he turned on his dad and
Kid's the best worst kid too.
And,
Best worst son.
Yeah. So it's like it's not. So audience, who is it for? It's hard because that's what I would have.
Yeah. Like one rewrite, like you're saying, like even the smallest changes makes this to like a family drama.
Yeah.
Like a little more. Maybe there's a phone call to the mom before or something. Like there's something. There's a little bit of a change that you could have made this a little more family friendly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm curious. It has to be. Oh, my phone's there. It has to be an R-rated movie, right?
I mean, it's untold death toll.
But I mean, you never see. Well, I guess I mean, his eyes are pinned. There's a couple. I mean, it'd have to be an R just for the axe to the head, right? That wouldn't have been in a PG.
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it would have been.
But then, I mean, obviously, then if it's an R-rated film, it's not then for the summer audience. It's just like dad fantasies movie. Like you're a dad, and
I think aren't we? Excuse me, just getting into the summer movies.
yeah,
Like this is the start of the idea, that whole idea of a summer.
yeah. I mean, obviously, Urban Cowboy, Blues Brothers, Brubaker, and Rough Cut with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, rated R.
Okay, that's what I thought. You know, those aren't. I mean, Blues Brothers is a classic movie, but I wouldn't say it was a summer movie.
Right.
You know, of what we know of summer movies now. So for June, it's not really. I mean, Urban Cowboy's not a summer movie. You know, and Brubaker, who's taking their family to go see the Prison movie.
Yeah.
Great movie, but you know,
I would think, you know,
just dad fantasy movie. That's what I would do if my son was taken.
I would think
Okay.
male, you know, 20s to 50s, sort of,
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
I mean, it feels sort of throwbacky to something. Like, I mean, I guess if you were, you know, 35 to 40-year-old male, maybe, obviously at that time everyone had a family and a house, you'd be like, God, yeah, these are like the movies I grew up on.
Yeah, this is a very male side. I don't know if there's much in there for women. Yeah, it's just...
My wife saw this multiple times.
She did. It's just... I just think... I don't know what you can hold on to. I mean,
Yeah.
the one woman that's in there,
She's actually really good.
She's good.
Although the introduction to her is weird because she's just covered in mud. So at first she looked like a burn victim, and I'm like,
I didn't know.
There was so much happening in that scene that when she came up and she looked like a burn victim, I was like, all right, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
But then it was just mud, and then she was actually attractive, of course.
Of course. But it's not to say that there needs to be women in it for it to appeal to women. I just think that the guys in there, there's nothing to like. There's nothing appealing about anything. Even like you can say, "Oh, well, Michael Caine." Like I don't know what his deal is. I don't know what's going on with him. So
I feel like he's not like an investigative reporter in there, like where he's like trying to find stuff. Like you don't feel him like using his job as any sort of advantage. You know, it was just sort of like it's a dude. And now it would be, you know, you make that movie now, it'd be Henry Cavill. And that half the movie would be with him without a shirt, and he would be like the most ripped dude, and you're like, what is going on?
You're like, well, at least there's that, yeah.
It's like, I mean, he's in really good shape. Look at him. What's Superman, for God's sakes? Yeah, I don't, I think the audience is definitely just sort of geared towards, like, mid-20s.
Yeah.
Male, even though, like, it feels like now there would be a PG-13 version of this to get the younger audience.
Totally.
I mean, probably minus all the murder at the
See, that's where I'm like, okay, it could be like 20-year-old guys going, oh, you know, just for the sheer, you know, murder, and when they, you know, board the ships.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. It's like,
well, yeah, you have your part Friday the 13th in the beginning, you're a pirate movie in the middle, and then you're Rambo at the end.
Right.
It was so
exactly. That's the pitch. That's the log line.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like, you guys liked Rambo, right? First Blood? Well, that wasn't out yet, but, you know, it's like,
right.
First Blood.
You will like it. Yeah.
You trust me, you'll like this. We're going to get 100 of these films. He's going to be 90 making these films.
Yeah.
So, timeless or of the time?
Wow, because it's an interesting question just because we're in an island that's supposed to be 17th century?
Yeah.
But biker gang?
Yeah. It was the Road Reamers.
Right.
Like the worst version of the Road Reamers.
Oh my god.
Watch Serial, everyone.
Watch Serial. Of the time. Yeah.
Them trying to figure out blockbuster movies because of.
Yeah, I just feel like it feels like we can talk about 80s movies and ask this question, timeless movies of the time. Mm-hmm. They all are of the time because of. Yeah. But to your point, the timelessness of it is just like the story, the what you get out of it, the structure, the way it sort of like it moves. I mean, like a well-told story is timeless.
Okay, exactly.
And I just think that this is not a well-told story. That's not why it's of the time. I think of the time just because it's just like it's flailing and it's fumbling and it's trying to sort of be something. You know, it wants to be a lot of different things, like you said, Rambo, the Friday 13th, but it just doesn't quite know where it needs to be. And so I can't say, you know, I can't drop someone who's, you know, 14, check that, 18, in front of this.
Although you could 14.
Right. I know. Right now you probably 12.
Yeah.
And then say, hey, here's a movie, and then not going, really? Why'd you make me watch that? I mean, I don't know what time period. I thought it was shot in the 17th century. But it's just...
Why didn't they just call someone on their cell phone? Like,
So I think so. I think it doesn't deserve that timeless sort of, which is a high bar, but that timeless designation. But
well, yeah, and I think of the time really does fit this one mainly because we're at the age of like, okay, we had Jaws, which introduces the summer blockbuster,
sure.
And this is almost the studio because obviously this is 79, you know, when they shot this because you know,
yeah.
So they're sitting there going, oh my God, let's option the book. Let's option the guy, Jaws book guy, The Island. Oh my God, that's got a lot of action in it. You know, I can imagine if you're reading this going, oh my God, this could be the next summer blockbuster. And then it's like, oh my God, the Bad News Bear guy. Not like he was making a blockbuster, but it's like, that guy's made good movies. Like it's almost like they were trying to like mathematically figure out what they do now with movies. Where it's like, okay, we got the Jaws guy. Oh my God, we got a guy who's made movies. Got Michael Caine, he's a star. Yeah. And threw it in there without the oversight of, well, is the story good? Well, I mean, the Jaws guy wrote it. I keep calling him the Jaws guy, but like, you know, he wrote the screenplay. You know, so it's like, it gives you this air of, I mean, you know, they're probably banking on it. Give them $22 million. Yeah. We have our next Jaws. And then they saw it and went, we have something.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we have something. Put some swashbuckling music there.
It had a great composer too.
Great. And this is the thing. Again, another like super high quality.
But this score actually fit as opposed to the what was the first movie we did? God, the January movie.
See,
don't talk, don't ask.
Don't answer the phone.
No, that was number 2. Whatever the first movie is with.
No, you're right. Don't answer the phone. But there was sort of a. God, what was that movie? Oh my God.
We've done 6 of these, and it's like within 6 weeks. I don't know.
Because there was another title that just didn't.
Don't answer the phone. It's here.
Yeah.
That one where it felt like they took pieces of his music and went, because it didn't feel like he scored that movie. They used pieces of his music. This one feels like he scored the movie, but he wasn't told anything about the movie. He saw pirates and went, they're the heroes, or they're the one we're following, not realizing they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because that music, they were getting in their boats to already start murdering people, and it's like, let's go! And you're like, this feels so wrong. So yeah, that was the music when they went and got all the kids on the big boat. It's like, this just feels... Alright, I know we're going to do final thoughts. But, the karate guy. Alright, we'll do that in the...
I was thinking about that too.
Alright, so yes, it is of the time mainly because it was them figuring out what the summer blockbuster is. They thought they probably had it, but you could see the inner workings of a studio. Like, okay, we got this guy. And it didn't work only because, as always, story is king. You can still have a summer movie in the story, like Transformers. Those are summer movie stories, but that's more spectacle. But I wouldn't, as we always said, like, I wouldn't put this in a vault. I want people to see this movie because I want people to explain this movie. I want people to watch this movie to explain the movie to me.
Right.
Not because it's bad. It's not like don't answer the phone or something, because it's like, that's something else. You want people to watch that for a different reason, or maybe don't even watch it. But like this one, I want people to see this movie because it's interesting. It was fun. It's interesting. It's all over the map, but I want someone to like watch it and explain to me the movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of things in there that I think just begged for explanation, and I just didn't get it. You know, I thought maybe it was just me, but I couldn't make heads or tails out of a lot of it.
So as we merge into final thoughts, High West Campfire. If you're going to drink, Camera One, John,
yes,
is the drink of choice, and we could have finished this on this movie because I don't think I have enough whiskey to understand this movie. But
yeah, another bottle.
Overall, I did really enjoy it. I thought it was a ride, not the best ride. But there are questions. It's like, that son literally murdered people.
Yeah.
But he seemed kind of okay at the end. I was like, I get, these are movies, and a lot of those like 80s type of movies sort of, like there was the bad person, we're better now. And it's like, you did a lot of bad things. But this kid literally was like, I'll kill him.
Yeah, he was cold.
He was cold. Overall, I really enjoyed it and have a lot of questions. And even though it's not a final thought, the karate guy was the weirdest scene. That probably is the one scene you could take out of that movie. I don't know if it would improve it. I'm not saying it's a Snyder Cut improvement. It made zero sense in the movie.
It just did. It went on and on and on. and the guy was doing a Bruce Lee impression. Yeah,
He was actually doing that and was like, oh my god, this is a joke.
right.
Right?
Yeah, because you think, oh, okay, he's joking, or like, no, that's what he's doing. He's not Bruce Lee. And but you're right, he was way too confident up against 30 people who were just, with weapons and bad intentions, and finally he just said, okay, you're done. But
I mean, he pops out of the middle of the boat and he sees the road reamers, basically.
yeah,
And his first thought's like, yeah, let's do this. And I get it, that's sort of maybe a fight mentality, but it's like, yeah, but you still have to internally... It's like, was that a studio note? Is that in the book? And was that guy like, I got this? And, and Michael Ritchie sitting there going, I have nothing. I don't even know what to do with this guy.
I hope that
And
was
action.
in the book. Yeah.
I mean, we're on a boat.
Or do you think, he
Michael Ritchie's note.
Nick Cage or Crispin Glovered it and came... It wasn't that at all. It came on the day and said, I got a choice.
All right, I know I have to fight these guys, so I know what I'm doing. Okay, great. This is, okay, we did a little rehearsal so the guys know what the punches are. And you're like, I mean...
Because, Bruce Lee was a big deal then, so it's like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't be doing that. It's like... So I'm going to spend 5 minutes looking at a guy like trying to fight these guys like he's Bruce Lee.
I mean, didn't you think he was going to get murdered right away? I thought that was sort of the Indiana Jones joke of him pulling out the gun.
Totally.
Was that he was going to come out and see and go, whoa, and it was like, oh my god, what is this? And a guy in the back was going to axe it right away. Then when he was fighting people, I'm like, this is happening. This is in the movie.
Right. Indiana Jones, directed by Steven Spielberg. The Island, not directed.
Once again.
And Indiana Jones, the way that happened, that was a happy accident because they just didn't have time to... they were losing light.
Yeah.
And there was a whole fight scene. And Spielberg said, you know what, just shoot him because we got to move on to our next thing. And it became something. So it wasn't in the script. But this should have been the opposite. It should have like... Just kill him. I mean, that would have actually done a lot.
Like him sitting there and he's about to fight, axe in the head. It's like, because we've already seen it, it would have been hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
We saw it really close to the beginning and it was amazing.
It's like, and after the third person, he's like fighting, you're like, okay, we really get it. We don't need any more of the... And then it just became sad. It's like, what is...
Yeah, it's at that level of those, like, that 5 stages of grief. It was sort of like, oh man,
yeah.
Why is it, oh.
And he's still, it's like, what, like, am I supposed to, like, am I laughing?
And it's like, what is this movie now?
Yeah. I know, and they're just like, killing people on board, and
the music, bum, 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 murder.
Yeah, and it's like we here we are to save the day. And it's just like, come on. It's like, wait, what?
I don't think anyone watched this movie.
Exactly.
Editor's like, I have your cut. Great, move it forward.
Great, move forward. It's the Jaws guy. I'm kidding,
They should always remember it's the Jaws guy. The Bad News Bear guy, he knows what he's doing.
Exactly. Bad News Bear, Jaws. It's the classic.
But any final thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, but overall, I can't say of the bunch that we watched that it was my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just left really confused by a lot of it. It's certain things where, the hack to the head in the beginning with the axe and because it's like not, it's kind of campy, but it's in the machine artillery or whatever on board where Caine just mows down everybody, possibly his son, on the ship.
Best worst dad.
Best worst dad. So for that, it's sort of enjoyable. Like, wow, how can he be a dick and be kind of okay?
Yeah.
At the same, and within a minute.
A minute.
You know, Michael Caine is reason enough to like keep it going. He can carry anything like in his sleep, but it's just like
Yeah.
You know, all in all, it's no Carney.
Yeah.
As far as like
Yeah, I mean, that was just acting class.
performances and acting and all that.
This is like probably our biggest, not biggest budget film, but like
No, totally.
the biggest film we've seen. Like everything has been really just in a pocket, almost
Yeah.
like, oh, we're here, we're only here. I mean, we're on boats, we're on islands. This is like the biggest movie, like the
Yeah.
first one that doesn't feel like an independent movie.
Totally. And I could see where, you know, I hate to say this, but a couple of rewrites.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, where it would have been.
they should have put the Jaws guy in check.
Yeah. Where it would have been, I think, a lot better. Because, like, I can hazard a story out of this that wasn't there. But a simple story.
Yeah.
Something that we could, you know, all get on board. But to sort of muddy it with certain things that, you know, you're philosophical on one hand, and then, you know, you break rules on the other, and then, you know, you have a dad who's like cares about his son, doesn't care about his son.
Mm-hmm.
I think all those are very fixable things.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just like it just left me with like, okay, this may be a movie that should have like maybe had another couple rounds at the script stage.
Yeah, it's not an editing, like it's not an edit round, it's a script round.
Yeah.
But yeah, and overall, I mean, it's still a fun watch. I would recommend it to someone who has time, like that would understand why I'm telling them to watch this film.
Right.
This isn't someone, I only watch one movie a week, what should I watch? Okay, don't watch this one.
Right.
You know, but like someone who would want to see almost the genesis of a summer movie. Like this is,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, it's like look at the pieces they were working with, and they were trying to figure it out, and it ended up being The Island, a movie Michael Caine refuses to talk about.
To this day.
We do not refuse to talk about it.
We
All right,
do not.
camera, John, go to camera one.
Oh.
I guess you're camera one.
Am I?
Thank you for joining us on Post Apocalyptic Show.
Thank you so much.
Like, subscribe, follow, comment, website, all those wonderful things.
All of them.
And watch The Island. I mean, it's The Island.
Watch it. Watch it.
If you're
Let us know what you
watching
think.
this, you probably have already seen it. And if you haven't seen it, even though we sort of spoiled things, it is a delight just to see Michael Caine use a big gun at the end.
And we spoil things, but believe me, that's not going to make any difference when you watch this.
You'll be as confused.
Yeah.
Like, at least you'll go into it knowing something.
Right.
That might actually help.
That might help, actually. You're right. That might help.
So, so enjoy Best Worst Dad. It is a great movie.
Yes.
And once again, thank you for watching. And
Absolutely.
until July, which will be our next movie in July 1980. Thank you for watching Post Apocalyptic Show. This is Rob.
This is John.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.